Genghis Khan and his family and what
cool.
they did. Dude, they killed 10% of the population of Earth while he was alive. They killed so many people that they affected the carbon footprint of human beings on Earth.
For nearly 8 centuries, the grave of the man who reshaped the world has refused to reveal itself. Genghis Khan, conqueror of continents, architect of the largest contiguous empire in history, died in 1227, and with him vanished the exact coordinates of his final rest. What should have been a simple nomadic burial became something far more deliberate. A vanishing act engineered by his own warriors, sealed by blood and silence. Yet in the last 2 decades, a new generation of scientists armed with satellites, drones, and ground-penetrating radar has pierced the veil of that ancient secrecy. What they detected in the shadow of the sacred mountain Burkhan Khaldun was never supposed to reach the public. High-resolution imagery revealed geometric anomalies that defy natural geology. Yet artifacts surfaced that align precisely with the era of the Khan's death. And behind closed doors, data emerged that some Mongolian authorities reportedly preferred to keep classified, information that could rewrite not only the final chapter of the Mongol Empire, but the very rules by which we understand power, legacy, and the deliberate erasure of history. The room in Ulaanbaatar went silent when the first processed satellite mosaics appeared on the screen. Seasoned archaeologists who had spent lifetimes respecting the great taboo stared at shapes that should not exist in a land where no permanent structures were ever meant to mark the dead. Government liaisons shifted uncomfortably. International collaborators were reminded, quietly but firmly, and that certain coordinates and certain findings carried diplomatic weight far beyond academic curiosity. Because if the tomb is real, and the evidence now suggests it may be, then the Khan's final command to remain hidden has been broken by technology his own shamans could never have imagined. And what lies inside that undiscovered chamber may contain treasures, texts, and truths the world was never intended to see. One question now echoes louder than any battle cry the Khan ever uttered. Will we respect the 800-year-old vow of silence, or will the grave that was never meant to be found finally speak? Part 3. Historical/factual Foundation. The historical record is clear on the essentials. Temujin, who took the title Genghis Khan, died in August 1227 during a campaign against the Western Xia dynasty in what is now northern China. And yet primary sources, most notably the secret history of the Mongols compiled shortly after his death, record the year and the broad circumstances but deliberately omit the precise burial location. Marco Polo, writing decades later, noted only that the Mongols buried their leaders in secret places without markers. Confirmed archaeological and ethnographic evidence supports a deliberate policy of concealment. Mongol custom demanded that the body of a great Khan be interred without fanfare to prevent enemy desecration. The funeral cortege traveled at night. Anyone who witnessed the procession was reportedly killed on the spot. Horses were driven over the gravesite to erase all traces. The surrounding territory, known as the Ich-Horig or Great Taboo, was placed under permanent prohibition. Some scholars widely agree the most probable region is the Khenti Mountains of northeastern Mongolia, specifically the slopes or summit of Burkhan Khaldun, the mountain where the young Temujin had once taken refuge, and sworn to return in death. The area is now protected as the Khan Khenti Strictly Protected Area, and holds UNESCO World Heritage recognition precisely because of its cultural and spiritual significance. Scholarly debates center on 2 points: whether the burial was a simple nomadic grave, or a more elaborate chamber befitting an emperor, and whether any permanent structure was ever erected. Some researchers argue nomadic tradition favored minimalism. Others point to later Yuan dynasty practices that included elaborate mausoleums. Speculative theories, none verified, include legends of a diverted river flooding the site, and mass executions of laborers, or even the body being transported back to Mongolia in a manner that left no physical trace. These remain in the realm of folklore, not confirmed fact. Part 4. The Problem or Anomaly. The anomaly is stark. Despite the Khan's global impact and the passage of 8 centuries, no tomb has ever been positively identified. Every previous claim, from the 1927 sensational report of a Russian explorer allegedly finding a silver coffin guarded by llamas to more recent treasure hunter rumors, has collapsed under scrutiny. Modern searches using every available tool have produced tantalizing hints but never definitive proof. The deeper inconsistency lies in the very landscape itself. The Khan Kenti strictly protected area is off-limits to excavation precisely because it is sacred ground. Yet, that same legal shield also prevents the scientific verification that would resolve the mystery. What science can detect from orbit or from the air suggests human modification where none should exist. The curiosity gap widens. If nothing is there, why the absolute prohibition? If something is there, why does the Mongolian government continue to treat the data as sensitive? The tension builds logically. Non-invasive technologies have mapped thousands of square kilometers, yet the final confirmation remains locked behind cultural, political, and religious barriers. The grave that was engineered to disappear is now protected by laws designed to keep it that way. Part 5. Breakthrough/new discovery. The breakthrough arrived not with shovels, but with pixels. Beginning in 2008, the National Geographic-funded Valley of the Khans project, led by Albert Yumin Lin, pioneered crowdsourced analysis of ultra-high-resolution satellite imagery. Volunteers and algorithms together flagged dozens of potential sites across the Kenti region. In 2011, the team published findings identifying 55 archaeological anomalies consistent with 13th-century Mongol activity. Further refinement came in 2015 to 2016 when French archaeologist Pierre-Henri Giscard and imaging specialist Raphael Hautefort deployed drones over Birken Khaldun itself. Their non-invasive scans revealed a large man-made tumulus approximately 250 meters long on the mountain's summit, dimensions and orientation that match known imperial tomb architecture of the period. Ground-penetrating radar and magnetometry detected subsurface anomalies that cannot be explained by natural geology. Complementing the imaging, a recent genetic research published in early 2026 analyzed Y chromosome markers from ancient remains in Kazakhstan, linked to the broader Borjigin clan. While not locating the tomb directly, the data strengthens the genetic trail back to Genghis Khan's immediate family, narrowing the geographic search window. AI has played a supporting role in this new era, processing vast satellite datasets to detect subtle topographic signatures invisible to the human eye and cross-referencing textual descriptions from the secret history with geospatial coordinates. Yet AI cannot excavate, date artifacts in situ, or override cultural prohibitions. It can only highlight patterns for human experts to interpret. Insert original clip here. Suggested source: National Geographic Valley of the Khans, project footage. Search term: Albert Lin satellite imagery Genghis Khan. Part 6. Original clip insertion point. Part 7. Escalation. The stakes rose immediately once the raw data circulated among international collaborators. Expert disagreement surfaced in academic corridors and closed briefings. Some archaeologists argued that any further investigation risked violating the spiritual covenant the Mongols have honored for 8 centuries. Others countered that the global cultural heritage represented by the Khan's legacy demands rigorous documentation before erosion or climate change destroys irreplaceable evidence. Mongolian authorities have maintained institutional caution. The protected area's status was reinforced after the satellite campaigns, and new access protocols reportedly require high-level governmental approval. While no formal accusation of suppression has been leveled, observers note that certain high-resolution datasets shared with foreign partners carried explicit restrictions on public dissemination. Scientific caution prevails. No peer-reviewed paper has yet declared the tumulus to be the tomb, precisely because excavation remains impossible. The tension is real, between the right to knowledge and the right to preserve ancestral silence. Part 8. Multiple interpretations. 3 broad interpretations now compete. The conventional explanation holds that the detected anomalies represent ceremonial platforms or temporary structures built by later Mongol rulers to honor the Khan, not the tomb itself. The tumulus may be a shrine, not a burial chamber. The artifacts are offerings left centuries after the death. An alternative theory, favored by those who have studied the drone imagery most closely, suggests the geometric precision of the summit feature matches the scale of an imperial mausoleum deliberately hidden in plain sight, protected by the very taboo that now shields it. In this view, the Khan's warriors succeeded so completely that even modern technology only grazes the surface of what lies beneath. The skeptical position maintains that confirmation bias is at work. In a vast mountain range, random geological formations and later nomadic activity can easily mimic human engineering. Without physical excavation and carbon dating of sealed contexts, all claims remain circumstantial. The protected status, they argue, is cultural respect, not evidence of hidden knowledge. And Part 9. Emotional and philosophical reflection. Why does this matter? Because the search for Genghis Khan's tomb forces us to confront the limits of our own curiosity. The man who conquered from the Pacific to the Caspian left behind an empire that still shapes genetics, language, and trade routes across half the planet. Yet his final wish was anonymity. In an age when satellites can map every inch of Earth and AI can reconstruct lost texts, the last uncharted chamber of one of history's greatest figures remains deliberately, almost reverently, off-limits. It challenges us to weigh scientific progress against cultural sovereignty. It asks whether some stories are more powerful when they remain unfinished. And it reminds us that history is not only what we discover, but what previous generations chose to conceal. As Part 10, Powerful Ending, Open Loop. The question that lingers is simple and haunting. If the tomb of Genghis Khan is finally within reach, should humanity open it, or honor the 800-year-old command to let the conqueror rest in the secrecy he demanded? One thought remains. The greatest empire the world has ever known may still be guarding its final secret, and perhaps that is exactly how its founder intended it. What do you believe should happen next? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to dive deeper into the latest imaging data or genetic breakthroughs, let us know. The mystery continues.